They obviously didn't think that having Kash Patel or having Trump on the phone was a threat. So they're cool with it. That's why you don't put yourself in this position. Because to have the president of the United States on the phone and he's like, her, it's hard not to be like, her. For me, the choice point is like, I would have never, as a captain or a leader on my team, I think you can say the same. I think that would have been clear to our staffs and to the larger organization and like support staff. Those people would never be allowed in our locker room.
I apologize for exposing you guys to the incredibly toxic mouth farts that were coming from the inspiration of prepubescent boys, which, by the way, had someone ask me a while back why I refer to Meg Rapinoe as the inspiration of prepubescent boys, me personally, I thought it was kind of obvious, but I'll go ahead and explain the meaning behind this prestigious title. For starters, when she was going through her formative years, my inside sources told me that Meg Rapinoe had aspirations of one day possessing XY chromosomes. Now, as an adult, she has almost made that dream come true. As you just saw, she now dresses and acts like a prepubescent boy. According to Meg Rapinoe, the President of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, he would not be allowed on the ship if Meg Rapinoe was the captain of the SS Titanic. However, if Meg was the captain of the women's soccer team, and Chad Thundercock wanted to put on a tutu and change in the women's locker room, Meg Rapinoe would welcome Chad into the women's locker room with open arms. The president, no bueno, but a man pretending to be a woman, he would be allowed in the women's locker room. Now, someone please make that make sense. Right now, there is a little bit of back and forth between current and former stars at the worldwide leader in woke, ESPN. Yesterday, the legendary Linda Cohn, who is one of the few remaining normal people at the network, she quote tweeted an article from some pretentious asshole at the Toronto Star who was criticizing a player on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, according to this card-carrying member of Club Dunce, Austin Matthews made his choice. He is putting politics and the president ahead of the NHL playoffs. Correct me if I'm wrong here. 6 years ago, wasn't the mainstream media celebrating woke athletes for putting their political beliefs ahead of sports? Wasn't the mainstream media celebrating NBA players for canceling playoff games so they could mourn the justified police response to Jacob Blake? The media, they were fine with woke athletes wrongfully criticizing cops, but when NHL players visit the Trump or at the White House, according to the Toronto Star, he is putting politics ahead of what really matters most, which is the NHL playoffs. Linda Cohn quote tweeted Sergeant Doofus and said, "Be better." That was pretty much it. Be better. Unsurprisingly, this simple tweet, it caused Captain Doofus Keith Olbermann, KTP! This simple tweet, this simple response, it caused the boy named Pooh to experience uncontrollable symptoms of stage 4 OMB. Ultraman bad! Pooh grabbed his dictionary and he replied to his former broadcast partner on SportsCenter. Check it out for yourself. "Linda, it's me, Creepy Keith. I am sitting here with my emotional support cat, which is the only female species that doesn't revolt at my touch. We are very, very angry, Linda. I regret to inform you that we are kicking you out of our exclusive club. Also, I hate you!" Normally, when we are talking about unhinged lunatics and their righteous indignation, Keith Olbermann is the most insane of the insane. But believe it or not, there's another former ESPN star who clearly aspires to be the female version of Pooh. There's another former ESPN star who blames America for her unbelievable levels of huge embarrassing failure. I almost don't want to talk about her because that is exactly what she wants. She craves attention, especially toxically masculine attention. But the reason I'm going to share this with you, since it's Friday afternoon, I figured that we could end this week with a good laugh. And there is nothing better than laughing at the absolute misery of Sarah Spain. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Wanted to give you guys a quick heads up. Not going to be here on Monday, more than likely. I got to take Chew back up to Auburn for a follow-up appointment. Chew is doing much better, besides the fact that the radiation treatment has her drooling like a lonely woke man at the Butt Bongo Festival. If I am able to get a video done on Monday, it will be posted much later than usual, but just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. For those that don't know, Sarah Spain used to collect woke welfare from ESPN. Around 10 years ago, ESPN decided to abandon sports journalism to embrace the disease of diversity. Instead of hiring men and women who actually like sports, instead of hiring men and women who know what the hell they're talking about, back in 2016, ESPN fully embraced the disease of diversity, and they hired a group of diversity deputies that damn near tanked the network. Listen to this list of deacons from Woke United Methodist. Kate Fagan, Jamel Hill, Bomani Jones, Katie Nolan, Israel Gutierrez, Mina Kimes, Sarah Spain. Of this list of huge embarrassing failures, the only one remaining at ESPN is Mina Kimes. Most of these people are directly responsible for the destruction of Around the Horn. Once Around the Horn was canceled, ESPN buried Sarah Spain on something called ESPNW. It's one of those sites where ESPN buries woke welfare collectors that they no longer have any use for. They allow them to write articles knowing that no one will ever read them, and eventually they are quietly fired once their contract expires. Today, Sarah Spain is the proud host of a podcast called Good Game with Sarah Spain. When I tell you that no one listens to this podcast, I mean literally no one listens to this garbage. She has just over 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and recently she has been publishing her videos on Blue Sky, where she is surrounded by weirdos who are just like her. Earlier this week, Sarah Spain gathered with her lonely male followers on Blue Sky. She surrounded herself with dudes who spent 4 years of high school getting their heads dunked into the toilet. And she expressed her severe hatred for America. Sarah Spain is outraged because the men from Team USA were honored at the State of the Union. Her righteous indignation became uncontrollable. She was clearly emotional as she sympathized with the trauma that the women from Team USA are going through. According to Sarah Spain, the women from Team USA, they are being treated differently. They are being made fun of by the Trumper and the men from Team USA, all because they're women. Now, I want you to watch this, and you tell me if this is normal behavior. Watch for yourself.
Can't be expected to stay stoned-faced with such a laugher of a joke like Trump told, or God forbid even speak up when others are degraded or insulted. Laugh. Laugh with your boys. Laugh at the women who have won 37% of their Olympic tournaments while you've won 11%. Laugh at the women who don't get the millions of dollars in contracts and sponsor money and go out there and fucking win anyway. Laugh at the women who get shit on by their own president after winning a gold medal and then have to watch their fellow U.S. hockey members join in. Laugh at the women who have spines enough to say no to that White House invite while you hump Trump's leg as he jokes about closing the northern border to Canada and sending you a military plane to take you back for the State of the Union address. We have to be braver. We have to be louder. We have to stand up for this shit. We have to give a shit enough to be criticized. Be willing to put something on the line. Because if you're safe and you have a home and a job and you're protected by your gender or your color or your economic status, then speak the fuck up. Otherwise, you're just like those hockey players, enjoying the safe space of their locker room.
Does this look like normal behavior to you? Is this a normal reaction? Is it normal to be this outraged? Is it normal to be this emotional over what was clearly an innocent joke? Normally, I would say this is performative. I would say this is attention-seeking behavior. But with Sarah Spain, I think it's real. I don't think she is faking her outrage. I think she is legitimately upset. I think her hatred for America is so strong. She has become so blinded by hatred that she can't tell the difference between a joke and being malicious, which to me is far, far worse. It's one thing to be performative. It's one thing to fake outrage for clicks. But with Sarah Spain, I think she is actually this miserable. To be honest with you, I almost feel bad for Sarah Spain. Seriously, it has got to suck to be this miserable. It has got to suck to live with a severe hatred of masculinity. I know Sarah Spain is mad because she auctioned herself as a date to the Super Bowl and she couldn't even land a date with a super nerd. I know she's mad that her mainstream media career ended in huge embarrassing failure. I know she's mad because she lacks the talent, she lacks the charisma to build an audience. But that doesn't mean you have to hate America. And if you do hate America, there's a simple solution to your problem. Leave. I want you guys to think about something. This week, the mainstream media has once again been exposed as hating America. You can call it woke. You can call them Democrats, whatever the hell you want to call it. But let me ask you this. Can you name one Democrat not named John Fetterman? Can you name one deacon at Woke United Methodist that is actually happy? I wake up every morning in a great mood. I love what I do here every day. I love being here with you guys every day. I wake my wife up every morning as I'm singing in the shower. I can't tell you the last time that I've had a legitimately bad day. What the hell do I have to complain about? I've got a great wife, a great family, a great audience. I have the privilege of doing what I love for a living, and I have a very strong appreciation for the country that gave me the opportunity to build this life for myself and my family. And I have an even stronger appreciation for the brave men and women in our military who sacrifice their lives. So I have the privilege of doing this every day. These people in the media, they have the exact same privilege. Some of these people are making millions of dollars, and they spend all of their time living in misery. And the reason they're miserable is because they're infected with the woke fungus. The fungus is doing exactly what it was designed to do: seek and destroy. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.